We know judges are given a lot of power under the Constitution, but this power must be exercised judiciously. We are not happy with the way Judge Musa Ssekana treated us when we appeared before him on October 5th to hear our interim and temporary order applications. He made us wait for 2 hours because he had said this matter will be heard at midday. So we sat in that court for 2 hours. We were ushered into his offices at 2 p.m. When the hearing of the interim temporary order started, he told us that he had other commitments and therefore gave us only 20 minutes. After the 20 minutes, he said, if you don't want these 20 minutes, I can push this matter forward. He literally walked on us and announced that by close of day, he will deliver his ruling by email. We waited until we went to sleep without his email ruling. We were told the following morning that actually Judge Ssekana had delivered his email ruling at around midnight. His conduct make it look like a favor by judges to hear cases. We will raise this matter formally to him and to his supervisors. This is not just for us, but for everybody seeking justice in our court system. Justice must not be only done, but it must be seen to be done. We also intend to formally complain against the manner in which Judge Esther Nambayo handled an early application by the Nandala group that sought to block our September 19th Extraordinary Delegates Conference. Nandala and Amuriat, who have become masters of forgery and fraud, sued themselves through their agents. Any judge worth the title should have observed that those who went to court and those they took were the one and the same. That's why when the matter became before Justice Nambayo, the Nandala group immediately consented. I think they did so even before the matter was properly introduced. So any judge worth the title should have seen that there was collusion. Secondly, we suspect that court record was tampered with because those lawyers of Nandala and lawyers of his agents had applied to have the party chairperson, Ambassador Wasabirigwa, joined in this case. It is on that basis that Ambassador Wasabirigwa filed a defense, which unfortunately was thrown out by Justice Nambayo. By doing so, her court certified the collusion by Nandala Amuriat and their agents. This was done even after this collusion was brought to her attention. Finally, the conduct of state institutions. What is taking place in the country is the reenactment of a one-party system called the National Resistance Movement. It is the reason General Yoweri Museveni Tibuhaburwa is turning political parties into NRM affiliates. He started with the Uganda People's Congress. He followed it with with the Democratic Party. And through his agents, Nandala and Amuriat, is trying to take over the FDC. You've seen the National Unity Platform cannot even be allowed to pray. Its leader the other day was grabbed at Entebbe Airport as he returned from abroad. And the only reason he was grabbed was because his party had organized for him a warm reception. And one way of stopping it is to grab him at the tarmac. These are the things that Dr. Kizza Besigye, the founding president of the FDC, has gone through on numerous occasions. In fact, at one time, you remember, they even stopped Kenya Airways from delivering him at Entebbe Airport. It is the same script, same actors. This whole episode is rendering the return to multi-party democracy worthless and a mockery. This is the conversation that Uganda as a country must have. Preserving multi-party democracy is the war we must collectively pursue as a citizenry. The whole scheme by Mr. Tibuhaburwa is to destroy all Uganda's building blocks so that his son, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, meets no resistance when his father finally dies in office and the son seeks to take over. Our country, as everybody knows, marked 60 years of independence yesterday, but there are more democratic losses to count than gains. Mr. Tibuhaburwa, who has been in power for 37 years, which is 60% of Uganda's independence period, has made us lose the track that we set ourselves to be on at the time of independence. What is happening in FDC is exactly what has happened to traditional leaders in Uganda. At one time, you remember, Mr. Tibuhaburwa got princesses from Buganda to denounce the Kabaka. He gave them protection to go and occupy Kasubi tombs. He later created chiefdoms within Buganda, which all along has been one. He did the same things to Rwenzururu. Because it didn't work in Uganda and it also didn't work in Rwenzururu, he decided to bomb the palace in Kasese and later to have the Omusinga himself arrested. We are aware that other sort of kingdoms are being created in other traditional kingdoms. You know, the Bagungu in Bunyoro have always been part of one kingdom of Bunyoro. Now we hear that they are trying to create Obutabengwa, where someone will also be installed as a traditional leader there. The Muslims are now used to two administrations at Chibuli and at Old Kampala. The Church of Uganda has just postponed their elections. The civil society is under sustained, civil society and media under sustained state attack. There is therefore a broader orchestrated plan to destroy all institutions in the country. Only those that pay allegiance to the Museveni dynasty and family rule will be spared. Saving institutions is the battle we are involved in, and in this battle we undertake to work with and seek the support of every democracy-seeking Ugandan. Finally, to the FDC family, wherever you are, don't waver. We will be reaching out to all of you in the next stage of reconstructing our party. We want to thank you very much. That's what we wanted to say to you today. If there are questions, we can answer them. But before we do so, I want to invite the acting president, who, by the way, was also our lawyer, together with the Council Tugumi, to fill in the gaps, especially on matters of law and other matters. Thank you very much.
Thank you, our spokesperson. I think the position is very clear. Mine is to reinforce that particular message by re-echoing the call he has made to the FDC fraternity that they should not waver. There is this choreographed propaganda going around that court cleared the Nandala Poa Delegates Conference. That is a misconstruction of the ruling given by Ssekana, bad as it is. At least he did not say so, that he pronounced himself on the legality of that Delegates Conference of 6th. I don't even know where the media picks it from. I have seen it somewhere in the media circles and some political discussions that court cleared. The case is still before court. We filed a case as instructed by the National Delegates Conference on 19th to challenge the Delegates Conference of 6th. That case has not been heard, as you have heard from the statement. It has not been settled. It is still pending hearing. It's about the legality of that, the processes of that day. Until it is heard, it's disposed of in its finality. One cannot say that the Delegates Conference of 6th, I even hesitate to call it as such, that it was a lawful exercise, that meeting. So stop propagating falsehoods, starting with you, the media. You are reading too much into that ruling of Ssekana. All he did was to refrain from granting temporary reliefs, but not to pronounce in finality on the legality of that particular meeting. We cited the provisions as they have been clearly highlighted in that the statement, section 23, article 23 and article 28, which clearly talk about a duly convened National Delegates Conference of the party. It has to be summoned or called by the national chairman, who is here, and is the one to preside over the same. So you, the media, who are calling it that Samaji meeting, Patida meeting as a delegates conference, please stop it. It's an insult to the fraternity, to the members of the FDC. Our constitution is very clear: for a delegates conference to sit, the national chairman has to preside over the same. And he was here on the 19th. That's why every effort had to be made on that day, including jumping over that fence to come and chair this delegates conference, to be valid within the parameters of the party constitution. Now you get a meeting presided over by somebody you don't know. If I ask you who presided over that Ssemujju meeting, which you are calling a delegates conference, who presided over the same? You mean any meeting which is called and somebody comes and presides over, it's an FDC delegates conference? That's not the case. So you should stop calling that meeting of 6th as a delegates conference, because it's not known within the meaning of the party constitution. It is not. Secondly, again, for emphasis sake, for the media who have fallen prey to the propaganda orchestrated, masterminded, and propagated by Nandala and the team, that court cleared them. We want to emphasize that, because that's the only thing they are clinging on to get some credibility, to say, they were cleared by court. I want them to cite any particular line within that ruling that said, this meeting is lawful and it is called a delegates conference. It's not there. By the mere fact that the judge declined to grant the temporary relief on spurious grounds that we came later as explained here, which to him meant bad faith, she doesn't legalize the meeting. No. He simply declined to stop it, but he did not say it is lawful. You should be able to understand that. So having said that, we want to inform all and sundry, particularly the members of the party, the delegates conference that sat on 19th here at Katonga made resolutions which are still binding. They have not been set aside. We want to make it very clear. And amongst those resolutions, to put in place an interim leadership headed by none other than myself and the entire team for a period of 6 months. And we are still legally existing by virtue of that particular resolution of the National Delegates Conference that worked within the parameters of the party constitution. That is number 1. 2, the caravan is on. The program we rolled out Monday last week. It is on course. So it has not been set aside. And for the record, this same team, the Nandala, and their proxies who filed the application against them before Justice Esther Nambayo, happened to have returned to court on 4th of this month for a follow-up of their matter. And you check the record, I don't know why the media did not capture this. Justice Nambayo closed the matter and said, no, we cannot stop the delegates conference of 19th because it had already taken place. And she told them that the matter had been overtaken by events. So why are they not hyping it so much? They are not talking about that particular decision that was made. So this is the reason we have challenged you people, the media, who are talking about an order issued by Justice Nambayo. Justice Nambayo, stopping the delegates conference of 19th. It's not there. Look at the rules. The rules, the civil procedure rules, which were amended in 2019 by the Chief Justice, provide that an interim order can last for only 3 days. That's what the rule says. Only 3 days. They appeared on the Friday preceding the week of 18th and 19th. I don't recall the date it was, but if Monday was 18th, so Friday was the 15th. Friday 15th, that's when they appeared to execute that consent order the Honorable Ssemujju has talked about. And it is the reason the judge indicated that it would last for only 3 days. And it expired on Monday 18th by operation of the law. It's in black and white in the rules, civil procedure rules, that an interim order can only last for 3 days. So it expired on 18th. The following day we went to our delegates conference. There was a new order on 4th of October, and the judge told them that no, by a fraction of time, this matter has been overtaken by events. So they worked out of court. So where is the court order stopping the delegates conference of 19th? So we still maintain and insist the events of 19th have not been set aside, the delegates conference resolutions, and they have not been challenged. So our existence is lawful. That is the point we wanted to make. Until one comes up with a judgment nullifying the resolutions of 19th of September. It's the reason we are going ahead with our program, which I don't need to regurgitate or rather to repeat here, because it's well within your knowledge. It is in the public domain. We gave it to you. And one of the items on that particular program we wanted to emphasize is the fact that we are going to mobilize the Ugandans against the Museveni dictatorship, the family rule. And starting very soon, we are going to do it. And luckily enough, Ewaga has rolled out a new program for local council elections with the nominations in November. We are going to actively participate in those elections for purposes of mobilizing people against the Museveni dynasty. Because that is a golden opportunity for us to reach out to the people. Because if they are the ones now who have announced this program, it's an exercise announced by the Electoral Commission, and it helps us to reach each and every village in this country. We have over 40,000 villages in this country. So that's a golden opportunity, and we are going to do so. So we are going to guide our members on how we are going to actively use those elections as a mobilizing tool against the Kaguta dynasty. So wait for our program. It's going to come out soon on how we are going to mobilize people using those particular elections. The rest of the programs remain as they were announced. And our call is that please, members, be firm, remain resolute, do not waver. We shall overcome all these challenges. Obviously, when you are dealing with the dictatorship of this nature, you are bound to suffer hiccups like we are encountering right now. It's normal. It's actually inevitable that you suffer such hiccups, such setbacks. But the struggle continues. The war is on. And sooner than later, we are just going to put the Nandala, the power by the wayside and confront the junta head on. Because we know them are just accomplices, just appendages of the junta. So ours is to take on the junta and usher in a genuine transition from the current family rule to a truly multi-party dispensation. We thank you. May God bless you.
The Honorable Mujiche will fill in, and then the chairman will crown it, then we will do Uganda.
Well, maybe to add that if you have been following, you realize that at the recent meeting of 6, most members of parliament stayed away because they knew that meeting was inconsequential. And therefore, as a parliament, we don't respect the outcomes of that meeting. The other day, we saw a message from Honorable Yusuf Nsibambi, who has now declared himself a whip, attempting to convene us for a meeting as FDC members of parliament, and we have said to him that we shall not be part of an illegality. So the MPs will not be going with the other culprits and in Sibambi. So we are behind the party, we are for the party, all the way through until when we shall have a delegates conference in March on the 15th, and this is cleared. So I wanted to put it clear that we are for constitutionalism, we are for the rule of law. We can't be part of the illegality of Nandala and Amriat. Yeah, I'm just actually getting information that they had only 3 members of parliament. Only 3 members of parliament that were at Rugogo. Out of 31. And you see, members of parliament are smart. They realize that the supporters down there are not with Nandala and Amriat. So they don't want to sacrifice their constituencies by going against the people. Because Nandala and Amriat have decided to go against the Ugandans, they have gone with the dictator. And that's why you see the RDCs, the ministers, the NRM spokespersons, the cadre judges are all with Nandala. So it would be unwise of us as members of parliament now to also escort them as they deliver whatever they would want to deliver to State House. So we will not be with them. We shall remain with the people of Uganda.
Good morning. Stay away from me. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you so much for coming. And also, I'd like to say something regarding the world, what is taking place in the Palestine, in Israel. It's very, very sad. And I'd like to say that we have solidarity with the people of Israel and the people of Palestine. And I hope a solution is found for these people. They've suffered so much, the Palestine, for so many, many, many years, 7 generations. And this cannot continue. Now, regarding some of these issues that have been mentioned, I'd like also to add my voice. to inform again those who are real FDC that what happened here on the 19th of September is still happening. We are still FDC. We are the legitimate people who you gave the rights to go ahead with the party. I want also to mention to all the delegates who are here that you are still delegates until next year, March, when we will have elections. So don't be swayed by anyone, by all the nonsense that's coming from Najana and Kumbi, that they have a new delegates. That their delegates in none are void. You are the legitimate delegates who were here on the 19th of September, so rejoice because the devil has been defeated. Thirdly, I'd like to tell you to remain strong, all of you, our members who have given us so much hope. We are embarking on many things, and you will realize soon or later that the people, you, are with us. We want to continue to work with you, to support you, and all of us are dedicated to make sure that our party is together again. And also I'd like to take this opportunity to request or ask all those who have left FDC, all the member of parliaments who have left and went somewhere else, you are totally welcome. We welcome you back with open hands and nothing, no manenos, okay? We want you back. Thank you so much and God bless.
Katuja kuddamu mu Luganda in the same order. Ekiwandiiko kino kyakuddamu ebintu bibiri. Okusooka okusalawo kwa kooti n'okulonda okw'ekifere okwaliwo ku Lwokutaano. Okulonda okwaliwo nga 6 ku Lwokutaano tekwateekebwateekebwa mu constitution ya FDC. Constitution ya FDC akawaayiro namba 23 ne 28 obwaayiro obugamba nti Delegates Conference okunaalondebwa abakulembeze ba National Executive Committee ejja kuyitibwa era ejja kubirizibwa ssentebe w'ekibiina mu kiseera kino nga ye ambassador wa Sabirirgwa. Eno meeting eno ensisinkano ya Nandala ne Amriyat n'abawagizi baabwe etabeerangawo mu byafaayo eby'emyaka 18 egy'FDC. Yakolebwa mu bukyamu era yakolebwa bweru wa constitution ya FDC. Era ekyo badelegate bwe baatula wano nga 19 kye baatugamba tugende mu High Court tutegeeze kooti. Ne tugendayo ne tuteekayo omusango. Omusango ogwo n'essaawa ya leero tegunnaba kuwulirwa. Naye olw'okuba emisango gitwala obudde obuwerako nga teginnawulirwa, y'ensonga lwaki twasaba kooti mu lufuutifuuti kye bayita interim application ne temporary order ey'akaseera nga tusaba kooti nti nga tennaba kuwuliriza kusalawo obumenyi bw'amateeka obw'okutuuza meeting wabweru wa constitution ya FDC. Meeting eno egira egiyimiriza ekiseera ekyakaseera emala okutuwuliriza. Bwe twatuuka mu kooti, omulamuzi Musa Ssekana okusaba kwaffe n'atakukiriza. Bw'atakukkiriza tekijjangawo omusango guli gwe twawaabayo ogutannaba kuwulirwa. Ebyembi Nandala ne Amriyat abafere first class bombiriri awo bagenze ne bagamba abawagizi baabwe nti mujaganye ebya kooti byawedde. Twagala kutegeeza abafere abo n'okutegeeza bamemba b'FDC nti ebya kooti byakatandika. Ate amanyi kooti alina kwesiba 2 tebinaana byakatandika butandisi. N'olwekyo nga bwe mwatulagira ba delegates abaatulwano nga 19 ogenda mu kooti, omusango gwammwe twaguteekayo tegunnaba kuwulirwa, n'olunaku lwe gunaawulirwa tebanaaddutuwa. Naye nga bino byonna bigenda mu maaso, tulina okwemulugunya abalamuzi Musa Ssekana ne Esther Nambayo engeri gye beeyisizaamu mu High Court awo. Okusooka Constitution ya Uganda ew'abalamuzi obuyinza bungi naye bateekwa okubussa mu nkola n'obwegendereza. Bwe twagenda mu maaso g'omulamuzi Musa Ssekana yatuyita ku ssaawa 6 n'atulinza mpaka ssaawa 8. Olwayingira mu ofiisi ye n'atugamba ye yali bize nga alina n'ensonga endala z'agenda okukolako, atuwadde eddakiika 2 oba twagala tuzitwala oba si ekyo omusango yagiwulira eyo mu biseera ebijja mu maaso. Era eddakiika ezo 2 ze yatuwa olwaggwako basajja babakola mu ofiisi n'oteekamu enkokola tuviire omunene ayitewo agenda akole ku nsonga ezo. Nekiwa ekifaananyi nti omulamuzi Ssekana bw'aba alinayo abalamuzi abamufaanana balowooza nti ogenda mu kooti okuwulirizibwa baba bakuyambye buyambi. N'olwekyo oyina kufiitinga mu budde bwabwe, bw'osanga alinayo byagenda okukola ebitali bya kooti olina okwanguwa asobole agenda akola ebintu bye ebirala. Kino tugenda kuwandiikira Musa Ssekana yennyini tutuuseeyo okw'omulugunya kwaffe ku neeyisa gye yeeyisaamu, naye ate tuwandiikire n'abakulu abamutwala mu kooti okubategeeza nti tulowooza kooti eteeka okulongoosa enneeyisa yaayo n'enneeyisa y'abalamuzi. Tetukikola nnyo ku lwaffe ffekka, naye tukikola ku lw'abantu bonna bonna abagenda mu kooti. Abalamuzi basasulwa ssente ate nnyingi, ssente z'omusolo okukola mirimu gya ggwanga, naye beeyagalira mu kooti n'oba nga agenza okubakyalira mu maka gaabwe. Kooti si maka ga mulamuzi, eno ofiisi ya ggwanga, oteekwa okugibeeramu nga bannayuganda ku lwabwe lwaki ogirimu, obawe ekitiibwa, era bwe bajja okuwulirizibwa n'obawuliriza nga tobeegayiriza, ate n'obawuliriza n'obwesiimu. Tulina n'okwemulugunya okulala ku mulamuzi ayitibwa Esther Nambayo. Omulamuzi ono Nandala ne Amuriat nga bayitira mu bayambi baabwe beewaabira. Nambayo ne tumutegeeza nti abafere bano beewaabidde, mu luzungu kye bayita collusion. Ate ne mu kwewaabira ne basaba nga balaba kye basaba tekijja kusoboka nti naye okuyimiriza delegates conference ya 19 ambasada Waswabirigwa naye alina okuwaabirwa. Okwo ambasada Waswabirigwa kwe yasinziira okuwaayo okwewozaako okwe. Kasita baamanya nti ate bw'anajjamu kiyinza okubaleetera obuzibu. Twagenda okutuukayo nga likodi ya kooti eri eno tuteeberezebwa nti erabika baagikyusa bye baawandiika. Era abaawaabira Nandala ne Amuriat ne be baawaabira olwatuuka mu kooti ono n'awaabo n'agamba nti nzikiriza gunsinze nnyabo omulamuzi nga Bafere bwe babeera. Kakati n'omulamuzi naye n'assaako omukono nga sindikeeti y'Abafere yagiteekako certificate. Ekisembayo by'ebitongole bya gavumenti n'enneeyisa gye byeyisizaamu. Mwalaba wano 19 okujjawo ntwalinga nga abali mu barracks, magye gatwetoolodde, naye mwalaba Nandala nga batuula, ndowooza poliisi nga yebakubira engalo n'amagye, mugende maaso Nandala. Ffe wano baali batulya tiya gaasi. Ate ng'ebitongole bya Uganda yonna. Naye ekyo kikulaga bulazi wawe tuyimiridde mu lutalo luno. Poliisi beekubira mu ngalo n'amagye ne beerya tiya gaasi nga bayise meeting. Ekigenda mu maaso kati ssaawa zino okutabangula ebibiina, ekigendererwa kya Museveni mu bukujjukujju kwe kuzzaawo obukulembeze bwa NRM bwe yayitanga movement nga tebuliiko kibiina na kimu kibuvuganya. Kati ebibiina mu bukujjukujju bwa Museveni ayagala kubifuula nga Boborangi, ayagala bufuula nga branchi za NRM Matabi ngawe mulawe yakola UPC kati UPC eryawo nalyo tabiri NRM kye yakola DP ne DP nalyo tabiri NRM kati Museveni kyali mukola ne FDC ajifule era kati bwawuli abasinga okwogera ku radio ne mu mpapula za mawulire bagamba kimu FDC mugende mukole kibiina ekirala kuba kino bamanyi nti bali mu lutalo lwa kukifuula nalyo tabiri NRM mwalabye aba National Unity Platform nole bagambye ogenda okusaba emboko yanyose tear gas okusaba ate Museveni ne mukyalawe ne muwalayo kati ne muwalayo yafuuka bishop tetumanye wakati State House ye church uli omujja ino ogenda okumukiriza okusaba kubanga bo kiraba bali eri muwala wa Museveni kati bishop ye ali mu kusomesa aba National Unity Platform nga tebakiriza kusaba President twagala basa asiro wa NUP muna mwalabanga bamuyola ku kisaawe ebintu bino bwe bulamu Dr. Besigye bwawangadde kutuuka olwaleero lumu baagaanako ne Kenya Airways okumuleeta okugenda lwali lutalo naye n'okudda ate lutalo yensonga lwaki twagala bannayuganda bonna buli ayagala okulwanirira emirembe mu Uganda wano tulina okukwataganira ewamu nga tukola omulimu guno abamawulire nawe emboko zinyooka be baakubanga Kyagulanyi akomawo bakyalunyumya be baakuba wano nga tulina meeting ya FDC ne be baakubira enajja nankumbi nabo bakyalunyumya ate nga si bibiina bya bufuzi byokka na mawulire ebitongole ebya bwannakyewa civil society nazo baziri bubi kati amadiini mulaba abasiraamu balina ebitebe bibiri Old Kampala n'Ekibuli bino ebikolebwa ku FDC Museveni yabitandika dda ne ku bufuzi obw'ennono mujjukira bulungi bwe yakwata abambejja omwali Ndagire n'alinnya n'abawo obukuumi ne bagamba nti Kabaka Ronald Mwenda Mutebisi Kabaka mutuufu ne bawamba n'amasiro ge Kasubi nga Sali Musaine Kakoza Mutale babawadde obukuumi obukulembeze obw'ennono obw'abalw'enzululu nabo baali babutaddemu obukulembeze obulala ekyo bwe kyalemerera ne balumba olubiri ne balusaanyaawo n'omusinga ne bamusiba kati saawa zino bali mu kuteekateeka ne Bunyoro kugitemamu emirundi ebiri mumanyi nti abagungu ye ku kingdom ye Bunyoro kati Museveni ateekateeka okuteekayo obutabengwa nti nabo bufuzi wanono mu Bunyoro ebyali ebusoga mu bimanyi kati bino ekigendererwa kya Museveni ng'amaze okutyobola amagye poliisi kitongole kiramuzi ebibiina by'obufuzi ebyeddiini civil society asooka agenda okuva mu kulembeze nga ebitongole byonna bimenyesemenyese kireetere mutabani we okujja okulembera Uganda nga teriyo n'omu ayemulugunya yensonga lwaki tuteekwa okulwanira wamu okutaasa ensi yaffe emyaka gye tumaze bukyanga tufuna obwetwaze 61 Museveni yakatukulemberako emyaka 37 60% 60 ku buli 100 naye bw'otuula okubala mu demokrasiya bye tufunye listi eriko bye tutafunye yesinga obungi okusinga bye tufunye n'olwekyo buli ayagala Uganda okutambula obulungi tukakatako okwataganira ewamu twerwaneko si wa mawulire si banaddiini si civil society si bibiina bya bufuzi luno olutalo bwe lugwa mu DP ne lujja mu UPC ne lugwa mu FDC kakati omulala oteekwa kwebuuza nti ewange endowooza lunaatera ffe tukyalusibye nga tukyalwana mwebale nnyo mwebalire ddala
One people, one Uganda.
Njagala okukakasa bammemba b'ekibiina ne bannayuganda bonna nti obukulembeze obwateekebwawo ng'ennaku z'omwezi 19 omwezi oguwedde mu delegates conference eyatuula wano tebunnasazibwamu weebuli waliwo ebibungeesebwa nga biri mawulire bive mu bannandale najja nankumbi bitambula mbwa kooti yabakiriyalinga kooti netusazaamu. Njagala bakakasa n'okubategeeza mu nsonga zonna ezibadde mu kooti tewaliiwo judgment yonna yali eyogedde ku delegates conference ya 19 nti eri bweru w'amateeka, tebiriiyo. Honorable Ssemujju kyayogedde wano kyenjagala okuggumiza nga ennaku z'omwezi 19 bwe tumaliriza delegates conference yaffe bano bennyini baddayo mu kooti nga nnya ewa Esther Nambayo ne bamugamba nti tuwe order esazaamu ebyatudde nga 19 n'abaga nti application yammwe gye mwaleeta okusooka mwe yabawera interim order yali ya nnaku 3 nga yali nga 15 ng'eggwako 18 nga 18 tebaafuna order ndala gye baleeta kusaavinga ku chairman biriggwa era teyabeerawo. Kati we baddayo nga nnya n'abaga nti olukiiko lumwagala nsazeemu ba delegates conference eya chairman biriggwa yawidde dda, siyinza kugikola ki kukisazaamu. Agiwakanya ateekeyo omusango omupya. Tubalinze baguteekeyo tebannateekayo musango guwakanya delegates conference eya 19. Se byagivaamu byonna kwe tutambulira n'olwaleero. Abadde ayagala otubika oyo musezi toyinza kubika balamu. Era yabadde ayagala okulowooza nti nga 6 bagenze ku patida buli kimu kiwedde. Waapi nga Honorable Ssemujju bw'abagambye wano omusango gwaffe gukyaliyo mu kooti gwe twawaaba nga tuwakanya ebyanga 6 meeting ya Totelebuka bamwende eyo. Zina application 2 ezaali ewa Ssekana zaali zagamba nti ogiro oyimirizaamu nga bwe tumaliriza omusango. Bw'aba yagaana okuyimiriza tekitegeeza nti omusango guwedde. Main suit ekyaliyo ewakanye ebyanga 6 tewulirwanga. Eyo yejja okusalawo eggoye ku nsonga eyo oba ddala obuyinza obuyita delegates conference buli muteterebuka bamwenda oba chairman waswabiriggwa. Kyekinyusa eky'omusango ogwo kuba notisi zaali 2 mawulire ne bino bibagere bya mukikalazi mukalazi kibuuka imini ebitebiriyo mugundi. Notisi zaali 2 notisi yali emu eya Totelebuka bamwenda gye yafulumya ne tugiwakanya. Kati kooti tennasalawo omusango ogwo. So kikyamu era njagala okusaba bonna badde bakitambuza mu kikomye embagirawo abagamba nti kooti yasalawo eggoye ku nsonga ezo ng'ennaku z'omwezi 6. Eyo kooti bwe kiba nti luba lugendo twali tugisaba nti ateekawo ka hampu akayimirizaako nga bwe tugenda mu maaso n'olugendo lw'okuwaaba naye hampu eno basooke basitopinge bano. Hampu kooti netagiteekawo naye tekitegeeza nti buli kimu kyaggwa olugendo lukyagenda maaso tukyafaafaagana. Honorable Ssemujju wano abagambye nti olugendo lutandika butandisi. Njagala okubakakasa bwe ziba nsonga z'amateeka tukyajja kukozesa ekigambo kino mu Luganda tukyazuuzumbira. Abamanyi okuzuuzumbira kyekitegeeza ku nsonga z'amateeka tukyakola ki? Tukyazuuzumbira. Era tugenda kusaba ne Ssekana adde wali ebbali kuba ye yalaze dda sayidi ye. Yalaze dda sayidi ye nti ali ku sayidi y'Abannandala. Era tugenda kumugamba nti gwe ssebo gw'oli wafunyeko sayidi oli ya Totelebuka bamwenda ne Nandala guno omusango twagalamu mulamuzi ow'ebwesimbu omulambulukufu riifali ow'amazima gwe ddako ebbali. Ekyo tugenda kukimusaba. Ebirala byonna bikyagenda maaso nga bwe twabiteekateeka. Era tutegeeza bammemba b'ekibiina programs zonna ze twafulumya wano Honorable Kabaziguluka nga chairperson waffe owa Electoral Commission ze yabasomera wano nga ziggwera mu delegates conference ya 15 March zikyagenda maaso. Kakati naawo babaddewo ababuuza nammwe mu media nga muteekayo ebibuuzibuuzi n'ebibuuzo oba kyekiddako nimutandika kati muzzaako twakibabuulira programu yaffe egenda maaso. Tuteekateeka enteekateeka ezitutuusa mu delegates conference nga 15 twaweebwa emyezi 6. So kakati abadde atubuuza ekiddako toddamu okukitubuuza, linda bulinzi programu. Butiikinga butiikinzi nti eno tugimaze eno ewedde. Muzo twabagamba tugenda kutambula eggwanga ye programu eddako. Eggwanga lyonna tugenda kutambula. Ate kitukoze bulungi ndi programu yaffe coincidinze ne okulonda ku LC n'okwabakyala. So tugenda entambula zaffe ze twalangirira mu programu kabazigula kaje yabasomera wano zigenda kuyingiramu ne campaign ezigenda kukozesa campaign ya LC nga tool ya mobilization y'okunga bannayuganda okwanganga n'akyemalira. Era nga tugamba nti buli omu agenda okwetaba mu kulonda ku LC tugenda mu lutalo. Si mu nkole eyakuwa obwami akuwadde bukulya, tugenda kusaba babawe obwami obw'olutalo. Waliwo be tugenda okukuwa ebikompole ebisinga obunene tugenda kubyaŋŋangisa kubirumbisa Yoweri Kaguta Museveni ne famire ye abatufutubaddeko. Naye nabano banandala ababakwatirako nga bwetu bisavingawo okulwanyisa obutonotono gye bali. Naye byamaanyi bigenda ku lutalo lwe tulwanagana ne Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. So abantu bonna bannayuganda tubakakasa nti obukulembeze bwaffe we buli bukyagenda maaso ne programu zaffe era tugenda batuukako essaawa yonna. Mwebale nnyo mwebale ddala.
Ababadde batunulira ebigenda mu maaso ndowooza ku nga mukaaga mwalaba nti mu meeting ya Nandala ne Amuriat ababaka ba parliament aba FDC tebayita bamu basatu bokka bwe baaliyo kubanga tukimanyi tife nga ababaka tugendera constitution ya party ya FDC ate 19 pate yatuura neteekako obukulembeze obupya obwe bwetumanyi nga ababaka. N'olwekyo bano abaagobwa mu bukulembeze Nandala ne Amuriat ne bane bwe bagenda mu pate yaabwe eyali Rugogo ffe tetwagenda. N'olwekyo ebyavaamu nti kati baleete Yusufu Nsibambi abeere na nyampala wa FDC mu parliament, ebyo nabyo twabiganye kubanga ffe tugenda n'abo abamenya mateeka. Tujja kubeera ku side ya pate kubanga abaaturonda abantu mu byalo eyo gye tuva mu districts kye baagala balina FDC tebaagala babeere n'abo abawagirwa Museveni, abawagirwa ba RDC, bawagirwa poliisi, bawagirwa magye, bawagirwa ne ba judges abe NRM. Eyo side tutuliyo ffe tulina FDC.
Kale bana ebyebyo mwebale nnyo mwebalire ddala.
One Uganda.
Yes.
One people.
Just a few questions that we would like to be clarified. You released a program in which we are supposed to be traversing the country from 4th October up to around 12th, but you have already lost some days. When are you hitting the road with the traversing of the country? Then two, the other side's president, Amuriat, alleged that the Lord Mayor has not been remitting funds to the party as guided by the party constitution. He's supposed to be remitting 200,000 per month. He has not been doing it. Then he also dared you guys to go to Najana Nkumbi and verify your leadership as the Katonga faction. But also, are you challenging the election that happened on 6th, are you challenging it in court as the Katonga faction? The other one is institutions like the Electoral Commission insist that they're going to be working with the other leaders that you presented in the earlier documents that you submitted to the EC until court decides in the case that you took there. Won't the damage be too big by the time court decides on that? Then lastly,
The questions are 2 minutes, so can we deal with one at a time? So the first question,
yes, traversing the country.
see, as the acting president said, we now have another program issued by the Electoral Commission. So we're going to merge these programs and concurrently traverse the country. Because if this roadmap had not been released, we would be in the field. But of course, also from time to time, we will be revising our own programs depending on the circumstances. So that program, let's be assured that it is about to start and it will start. The acting president can answer, but how can someone suspended raise questions and even have the audacity to ask me to answer? Because as far as I am concerned, Amriat is no longer the president of the FDC. So if he goes to his Marwa port and he says stuff there, so you want me to be answering? Give me a break.
Are you challenging the
No, we don't have to challenge something that was illegally not there. Because all that we have done this morning is to tell you that we went to court and filed a suit that hasn't been determined. So that suit will set aside all this nonsense that you are talking about.
These institutions that have failed, that have refused to recognize the interim leadership and vow to continue working with the other leadership.
I don't know of any institution, but the matter remains in court. So the legality will be pronounced by court.
Just one thing. The threats issued by the Honorable Nandala. Well, we are all intrigued by that. Of course, the answer here given is satisfactory, but the threats is issuing that we should write our will, that whoever is determined to rescue the party. I don't even want to talk about the headquarters, but whichever member is involved in the rescue mission should write their own will. That is a very serious one. And I thought if they had not been enjoying the state patronage, police would interest themselves in that matter. That is a threatening death, murder. That I'm going to commit murder, and he's on camera. Can you imagine? He's on camera, you have the footage, he is threatening to kill. That is attempted murder. Actually, if anything happens tomorrow, that you people write your own will, we are not surprised that police is not interested in that matter, because all state institutions are now rallied to support them. It's the reason you are talking about the military, you are talking about the Electoral Commission, you are talking about, we are alive to that fact, that state institutions, Museveni is whipping them into that particular direction, that please offer them all the support they need. But that in itself is not sustainable. This is what we are saying. It's not sustainable, because now they are clinging on state patronage, they are clinging on the support of the state apparatus, and of course with the support of the goons. That's all they are hanging on. That's all they are tapping on, to cling on to the leadership, which is going to collapse sooner than later. It's just going to collapse on its own weight. It's not sustainable at all, because they went to FDC headquarters by the will of the members of the party. Now they are holding on to the leadership using force. It's not sustainable. You can see the contradiction. About the contribution, I think it is, honestly speaking, below the belt. The enormous contribution I've made to the party, right from the court stages, the infancy I mean, right at the time when reform agenda was in its formative stages, the contribution I've made up to the present day, even up to the present moment. So please, spare me that. All I have to say, let Nandala account for the monies they have received. You get it? You cannot just be talking about 200,000 or 100,000 from Lukwago when you are presiding over colossal sums of money from the Electoral Commission, which they have not accounted for. Do you know the billions? We are now in this quarter. The quarter has started.
Changa tubukyusizaamu tewaliwo musango naye mu Uganda mulimu programu ezaffe n'endala kati waliwo ebyokulonda ebyerosi n'ebya abakyala tetujja genda Jinja kwogerayo byakutwala Museveni byokka kati tulina bigattamu n'ebyokulonda programu yaffe olw'ebyo ebigwa bitalaze ejja kubanga ekyuka naye ekitajja kukyuka gy'emyezi 6 badelegates gye baatuwa. Mu kkooti tulinayo omusango obwedda gwe tubannyonnyola wano. Omusango ogwo guwakanya meeting eyatuula mwe bagambira nti balonda obukulembeze. Omusango ogwo tegunaakuwulirwa. Ne tetugendagenda nga buli we banaamenya ku makya ne bamenya ekkufulo najja na 10 ne tuddayo mu kkooti. Gwe gumu gujja kumalira ebirabo byonna byolowooza. Ebitongole bya gavumenti twali tukisuubira kuba Museveni nga bwe nkugambye yatwala DP yatwala UPC yanoonya FDC naye nze ate siri omu kwabo abatya wano mu Buganda yateekawo obukulembeze obulala obw'ennono naye bwe bubuuza gye buli n'essaawa zino yabuteekawo tabumanyi ne mu bibiina by'obufuzi gyagenda ateekayo obukulembeze bwe butyo naye gwe bawe buukiseera ojja banoonya nga tokyabalaba so n'olwekyo siri omu kwabo abatya ekiseera ky'abano kipime kubanga omulamwa FDC kwe yatandikirawo byegoba tebakyabigoba kati bagoba birala bagoba nsimbi.
No, ekisooka nga sinayogera ku kya ssente bino byayogeza okutiisatiisa. Nandala ennaku zino ayogeza lyanyi yeewulira obuyinza bwa state. In fact, olaba omuntu ali obsessed ne state power emugenze ku bwongo kyova olaba yagambye n'okugamba nti abo bonna abali mu lutalo olw'okutaasa ekibiina bawandiike ebiraamo byabwe. Kati ye ekyo kikulaga ekifaananyi nti alowooleza mu kuyiwa musaayi. Olede biguns byateeka najja nankumbi be yatwala wa chairman waswabirigwa ne wano wennyini naki n'enkolagana ye ne state emugenze ku bwongo nti buli kimu kati agamba nja crashinga buli omu. Omuntu eyagendera mu bukulembeze bwe FDC mu kwano n'okwagala kati wulira eryanyi lyayogeza n'olulimi lwakozesa. So kwekyo ekisembayo nze kinewunyisa kulaba nti police sikitwewunyisa okulaba nti police temufuddeeko mu nkola entuufu singa wabaddewo enfuga ey'obuntu bulamu egendera ku mateeka oyo yali badde yakwatiddwa dda ng'ali mu kaguli nga bamuguddeko omusango ogwa threatening violence oba attempted murder n'agamba nti oyo yeetegeka awandiika ekiramu kye he attempted murder gwe ngenda kutta n'asigala ng'akyayinaayina. Era ne gavumenti newaana nti oyo balonze nga 6 ng'agamba agenda kuyiwa omusaayi kutta. Hata komye ku ekyo agamba nti ayagala ne sente nti Lukwago ta contributing atakola ki kikwewuunyisa. Nze contribution yange eri ekibiina sijja kugyogerera bwogerezwa esinga ne sente ezo zayogerako. Of course ne sente zange zen contributing nze sijja kudda wano kubyogera. Omanyiye obwongo bwe buli ku sente. Nandala buli gwalaba akulaba mu sente akulowooza gwe oli mu mmeka. No, mweju kyalina sente mmeka. Buli yogere mwogera nkyogera bbiri bwemwogera ku party constitution yayogera ku sente ze. Ayogera yina sente zino ayogera ki. So twagala mukulu Nandala bino ebintu si bya sente. Bino twogera ku bulamu bwa bannayuganda na ggwanga kulitaasa. Lekerawo okulaba ekibiina kyaffe nga business. Lekerawo buli kimu kyonna mu kibiino kitunuliranga mu sente. Ye Gaalubindi zaateekako buli kintu kyonna sente. Sente zamugenda ku bwongo. So kakati n'okunda baawo agamba Lukwago lwaki tampa sente sijja kuzimuwa. Kubanga ayagala sente already alina obuwumbi bwafuna okuva mu Electoral Commission eziri official. Twabagambye ne quote eno PSST Secretary to the Treasury yalaze nti bafumiza obutabalika 9 trillion ne batematema zigenda mu institution kwezo kuliko FDC talina nawe agenda zikolera accountability. Ayagala mu nkwate n'emitwalo 10 oba akakadde nkajje mu nsawo yange nkamuwe ayongere kwezo asasule ba kifeesi akole emirimu gye gyakole effujjo lye lyakola oswadde sijja kuwa n'ekikumi.
Thank you very much.
One people, one Uganda.
I am Okuli from Tororo. Where is all the councils from Bukedi did not come up to go to this meeting. So know that it's no longer I just
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Hi Rogers, can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk.
Looking for a pair of shoes? Les Hub Stores has a wide range of selection for unisex footwear. We have the best quality of all brands at pocket-friendly prices, and we make deliveries countrywide. Just place your order or reach us on 0772 080090. You can also check up at Less Up stores on all our social media platforms. Less Up, craft your own footprints.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.